What a weird position we have on a weapon here. And what I mean by that is, for its niche things, it's kind of brilliant. It really is. I'm going to show that. But otherwise, it's just very basic. And it does pretty well with basic perk combinations. I'll talk about that too. And on this channel, I like to talk about value, like where the value's at, who the value is for. Overall, though, I'm not sure about this thing. It's a fun pick, sure. Can you get it going? Sure. But I have a ton of issues with it. First, the Warmind cells are gone. We had some speculation with the season coming back with these weapons. Maybe we're going to get more mods. Maybe they're going to buff the cells. Maybe this, maybe that. Some players got a little excited about the Warmind cells, but Bungie said, nah, we're good. None of that. Phased out. They're gone. So we're left with a Void 180 RPM hand cannon, version 3 of the Ikelos. Base stat-wise, not that good. We have Posterity out there, PvP Survivor's Epitaph, One Last Drive with Frontier's Cry. 32 base range. It's the second worst. Posterity has 39. Disability's at 55, Posterity's 60. Reload's 33, Posterity's 57. It's behind everywhere. And usually with stats like this, sometimes you're not really worried if the combinations come through. And for some weapons, having a little bit less range or a little bit less stability doesn't hurt it too much, but on these it does. It shows in-game all the time. So when it comes to the barrel and mag, the range has to go up some way, somehow, and it's craftable, so enhanced perks are going to come into play. Does it really matter how you get there? Maybe it's small bore, even full bore. You can take away the stability to get that range because it needs the range. And this is really the only Void 180, so it does have that going for it, but it has so many issues. It's got a good origin trait, I'll give it that. Rasputin's Arsenal, breaking a target shield partially reloads this weapon's magazine. Kind of like Vice a little bit, even though that just recently got knocked down. But you're going to know when the proc happens when you see a shield. You're going to get the ammo back. PvP has shields, so it works there too. And I first want to start with the Crucible. Like, it struggles. It struggles bad. Why does it struggle? Well, multiple reasons. It's just in a terrible spot. Like, number one, the 1 second TTK with low damage and low overall range. That's just in general. That's out of the gate. It's got a base 27 meter range. Terrible for a 1 second time to kill. ARs are there, pulses are there, other hand cannons are there, high-end range SMGs are there. So if you were to go max range, that's everything. Full bore, accurized range masterwork, it gets to 31.2. Like, that's better, but in the grand scheme, nothing. It does not really help. Lower end SMGs eat you up. Higher end pulses eat you up. Everything in between eats you up, eats you alive. It's a bad spot. This meta, this sandbox, ton of pulses, longer maps, they cook you. You're going to get into reasonable engagements, distance-wise, and you're doing 35 per crit. So what are you going to do, just 6-tap them for that 1.6? No, like, you have to play that engagement space, move around, and a lot of people aren't going to let you do that. And when you do, the issues of the SMGs come up, the sidearms, and so on. The second thing is the high amount of second chance exotics. Healing nades, overshields. And it's not just Iron Banner. Like, the moment one of those things comes into play, you're going to need 5 crits for a 1.33. The moment that they do that, Wormhusk, Healing Nade, Bash and Shield, whatever, they have the upper hand. Pure pressure on you. Just turn and run. Not only that, you're going to have to deal with, like, a 0.67, no time to explain. Bad spot. Third, it is heavily reliant on damage perks, which I'm going to go into right now. Like, there are 3 things you want to do with these. These are suggestions, but if you want to do well, I feel like these 3 things you almost have to do. So number 1, you have to team shot. All of those situations, getting into a 1v1 in this sandbox with a 180, bad news. Don't recommend it. You're going to find out soon if you try. Number 2, the damage perk. This thing has Golden Tricorn, and all gameplay you're seeing well-rounded Golden Tricorn. Pound for pound, the best for the Crucible. It's the perk to go for. 15% more damage, has a long timer, does 70 per crit after that first kill. That's where these shine. That's where you have to be. Not have to be, that's where you need to be. Because once you start getting that 0.67 3-tap, then it's starting to snowball a little bit, but you have to get there first. And in this sandbox, it's tough. I'm going to cover more on that in a little bit, but you need to leech final blows in a team shot setting. Now, the third thing, the frame is inherently accurate. It always has been, so use it. Put on the in-flight helmet mod, put on an exotic if you want that gives airborne, because these from the air is something only a few weapon archetypes in the game are good at from base. This is one of them. Maybe to get cleanups, maybe to get a couple damage shots in when they don't expect it. That's where this can shine. Team shot, utilizing your vertical space, damage perk. Because at the start, I said that for the niche things that it does, it's kind of brilliant, and it is. Like, the Golden Tricorn Chain is a great loop. That's where you need to be with this thing. You just have to get there, and I'm not sure it's worth it. You can quick charge, high energy fire, but you could do that with any weapon. Go do that with a messenger. A no time. You're gonna hit the 0.67 every single time with 20% more damage. Use it with the 120 hand cannon. The 180s struggle, and I can't get behind it. I can't. I'm not gonna say that this is awesome, because it's not. I'm not gonna say it's a must-have. It's not. I will say that it is fun to use. but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Again, barrel and mag, range, M&K or controller. For the magazine, Seraph rounds, it's 10 points to the weapon, plus 7 stability, plus 3 range. Good option, if not accurized. Now, the saving quality that this is a craftable Void 180 hand cannon. If you're nothing to me, at least you'll always be that Ikelos V3, because maybe one day it gets a little bump, a little buff. It's nice that it's craftable. All perks can be enhanced, and again, like it's really niche. We have enhanced offhand strike. Get a kill, get bonus range, stability, and accuracy when firing from the hip. Again, super specific, but for those of you out there that would utilize this, it's actually pretty good. Some of you are gonna like it. We have subsistence. Great because the origin trait. Couple chances to get the ammo back. Air assault, actually a top option. It's a passive plus 10 airborne. After a kill, you get plus 30 airborne, stacks at ×2, so plus 70 airborne can be there. At base, it does well from the air, so this really adds to it if you're gonna play from the air. Triple tap, again, with the origin trait, solid option, well-rounded. I wouldn't go here with the other perks available. Rapid hit, it's gonna be really solid. Stability, reload on crits. Stats for all, PvE specific, but it's a great perk. Fourth last column, adaptive munitions, and with the death of match game, less valuable. However, keep this in mind. More damage to other shields. It has a good origin trait for breaking shields. It's not a bad pick, but 99.9% of you are not going to pick it. But it does work on the weapon. Repulsor brace, it's one of those things that, again, very specific, like Falcon is getting ready to be really hot in Lightfall. It's really hot now. But you're going to have the Overshield, True Sight, and more. But then again, are you taking this over the Velis X with Golden Tricorn Repulsor Brace? Like, I'm not. I would recommend that you use the Velis X. Frenzy, great perk. Focus Fury, very interesting. And I would actually take it over Frenzy. Deal half the mag as crit damage, get 20% more damage for 11 seconds, 12 seconds if it's enhanced. Great perk for PvE and the Crucible. If you pair it with the Origin trait, maybe pair it with Triple Tap. These are fairly easy to land crits with. You're gonna have a high uptime with that perk. Rampage, good PvE perk. I would use other options. Golden Tricorn, S tier. All areas of the game, you can utilize the 50% more damage more in PvE. One for all. One of my favorite PvE perks. Easy to get going, 35% more damage. Okay, in the opening of the video, I said that it actually does pretty well with some basic perk combinations. It does, like stats for all, one for all, with the origin trait. That's the key. Subsistence Rampage, Triple Tap Focus Fury with that origin trait. As far as run-of-the-mill perk combinations to get a job done, because the origin trait, these things work kind of well. All in all, for PvE, it's more of a pick what you want. No bad options with those good combos. Stats for all, one for all, Triple Tap Focus Fury, that doubles as a PvP combination. Maybe you want Repulsor Brace. Nothing spectacular, but slightly above average combinations because of the origin trait. And really tough to use a 180 as far as PvE. It would have to be something like the Lucky Pants Focus Fury. Like, I could get behind that. That would be actually pretty good. For the Crucible, heavily revolving around Golden Tricorn. It's really good on it, but you have to get there first. I'm also going to point out Focus Fury. If you're taking shots anyway from a distance, landing 35s, you might as well build it up. Because with the trait, it's going to refill. Maybe you can pair it with Triple Tap. It's a good pick for it. If you're peak shotting, knowing you're not going to win gunfights at a distance anyway, you might as well get the damage after. Now, the pairing perk, Rapid Hit's going to be great. Air Assault's going to be really good too, if you utilize that airborne gameplay. Again, the role you've been seeing is well-rounded Golden Tricorn. Definitely don't go that route. This is a random roll. And as I kind of started with, it's fun. It really is. It's a fun pick, but that's about it. You can have good games with it. You can go on streaks with it. You can have fun with it. Sometimes that's all that matters. But for me, I don't think that it's good. Grand scheme, it struggles. It does. And overall, with Golden Tricorn, what you're trying to do with this damage loop, I don't think that the juice is worth the squeeze, like at all. Not in this meta. Not in this sandbox. You can do the same thing with the Messenger, same thing with No Time, same thing with Palindrome, whatever it is. And it's just simply going to just outclass it. And when you start pairing in the pulses, the overshields, the passive play, health regen, this, that, high range SMGs, I put way more faith into other weapons. As far as PvE, same thing there too. Other frenzy weapons, other repulsor brace, other Golden Tricorn weapons. The list goes on. So it's not a priority for me personally to craft. If I get there, I get there. If not, definitely not worried about it. So yeah, in 2 words, not good. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about the Ikelos Hand Cannon V3 down below, and as far as crafting, there are some better options to craft ahead of this thing. I'd like to know your thoughts though. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.